And we're back, everybody. So apparently Windows had an update and it decided it really wanted to shove it down my throat today. So hooray for that. So as I'm getting the game back up online, I just wanted to tell you guys, I was here and don't worry about me. Everything's fine. So at any rate, the Skullball levels that we wanted to do or that we're doing, we wanted to have always an intention of an in-game esport level, and that's what we're doing with Skullball. The ball is not intended to be symmetrically shaped. It's got horns. The way you're going to be able to interact with it is by using your melee, your ranged abilities, or any of your abilities that actually affect other objects, such as a knockback or knock up or a push or a time dilation. And what's going to end up happening is the skull is going to, depending on the speed that it's traveling, is going to do more damage to the player. So this is kind of like a murder ball, skull ball thing where the players get to compete against each other while they're also trying to score goals and win. So it's kind of like this really cool, futuristic, Mad Maxian kind of Blade Runner sport where you're kind of playing for high stakes and playing for keeps and stuff like that. So it looks like the engine's loading up here. And oh, and you know what? I've got some really cool and exciting news. We've got some new marketing graphics are coming down the pipe with some really cool stuff from some of our heroes. And I'm going to actually throw a couple up here so you can see in a moment. I'm going to switch over to scene. And oh, Twabor is coming up. So I'm going to actually swing that over to there. Now, I can't see chat right now. My normal chat moderator is actually in a different room taking care of some other very important business. So I will just keep on trucking. Twabor, you know what? I just realized we haven't really talked about what Twabor is. Twabor is Latin, and the word means I will defend. Now, you're going to see it right underneath this skull there. I don't know which way I'm going to point. And it's on the seal of the state of Michigan, and I picked that name for the game because we've got a lot of PvP and a lot of PvE aspects where players are going to have to defend bases from other teams or defend facilities against waves of NPCs. We've got a lot of really cool cross-modular, cross-genre systems going on. It's almost like if you remember those choose your own adventure books. Well, that's what we're really doing here with Twabor. You're going to pick a hero and you're going to jump into the game mode that you really want to play. Now, we're going to be telling this story really cool through like graphic novel and comic book style art, so that way you can really feel attached to the game and attached to some of the heroes and what's going on. So we've got the story and the progression through those means, but we wanted to do a lot of different things that actually work well together, because there's been a lot of games we've seen, fun, great games, but we wish we could do more things with the hero. So in Twabor, it's going to be pick a hero, jump into your last stand mode, which we call Death and Glory, or jump into your PvP mode, which we call Core Breach, or jump into, we've got this really cool 3v3v3 PvE VP mode, which we're calling Domination. And then we've got some other really neat things under the hood that we're still researching and developing right now. So before we make too many big announcements on them, we want to make sure that they work and work according to design. So all good things there. And don't forget, I'm going to say it now and at the end, if you're going to see, that one is Twitter. We do a pretty good Twitter. That one you can engage Emily Springer. She's our marketing manager, does a fine job. Little bit lower, we've got our Facebook page. On Facebook, you're going to see more of our interactive media, or maybe not interactive, but more of our media, such as the videos instead of just the GIFs, and some really cool new banners and poster art that we're coming up with. So Facebook, it gives us a lot more room to actually tell the story. Twitter lets us just reach out to you guys who love tweeting and whatnot, those little small conversations. She's also got us on Instagram. I don't see it over there, but I'm sure if you search Sin Studios, you're going to find it there on Instagram. We do have a Pinterest going on, and that shows a lot of the concept art and a lot of the stuff that's kind of inspired us. everyone here is a big fan of a lot of different games, so the game industry is quite a nice place to be. Looks like the engine is almost finished loading up. And we've had a lot of times people ask questions, well, what is this going to be on? What's going to launch on? And well, we know we're going to launch on PC. We've just gotten certified for the console platforms, and we're trying to make sure QA/QC is done for both the PlayStation and the Xbox, but we can't make any promises there until we make sure it actually meets their standards of quality and our standards of quality. And so we do want to deliver this out to console players, but right now we're focusing really heavily on the PC platform. Let's see. I believe it's almost done loading up the engine. Oh, here we go. All right, I'm going to switch over to our Skullball levels. I'm going to switch scenes here. Ready for the fade out? In 3, 2, 1. There we go. Oh my gosh, it's Scott. He's on this other screen. It's just crazy technology. What are you going to do? So we're going to be running all this in engine. The last crash we had, unfortunately, was not, or well, fortunately, was not due to the game, but rather, again, Windows decided, hey, let's go ahead and update right now while Scott is talking. I'm going to go ahead and pick the hero we want to use, and I'm going to be showing off industrial. We're calling it Factory J03. And this one is one of our esports levels. And as we load this up, oh, you guys probably can't see that, but it says Loading Industrial Skullball Master. It's some pretty exciting stuff. Here we go. All right, now I'm going to play it in editor. No, I'm going to see if I can get the standalone here, just to see how well that works. I might have to load up that window again. Yep. So we're going to grab this over onto the source. There we go. Bam. And we're going to pull that one down under. Here we go. So with Skullball, the intention here again, I hope that's doing okay. It looks like it might be a little choppy, but it's running pretty smooth here on my screen. I don't know, it might be just a Twitch thing. We'll have to take a look at some of our streaming options later. There's our ball. And in this, the whole object is to knock that in to the other team's goal, or the goal. Right now we've got it set up so that way you can actually affect it through any of your melee or ranged attacks. I don't have it in yet to where, say, any of the knockbacks or damaging, but it will go in because we decided we were R&Ding a little bit. It made more sense to where you could actually knock it in using abilities as well. So the character here is Sentriax. Sentriax is a melee tough with a little bit of ranged on him so he can close the distance. He's got a melee skill shot, which does a fair bit of damage. He's got a ranged attack, which is weaker damage, but it travels pretty fast. It's good for intercepting and not being left out of the fight. Oop, that might knock it in. His #1 ability is actually a dash with a knockback and some damage. His #2 ability is a buff, which adds increased damage to his melee. You see it knocks it around pretty good there. And then his #3 is a directed conal AoE. Does damage. I believe it has a knock-up on it. I have to double-check that. And then his #4, let me get off the moving platforms here, is a taunt, or I'm sorry, it's a slow with AoE damage over time and an explosion at the end. So his whole intention is get into that fight, initiate the fight, go ahead and throw out a buff, just do a whole bunch of damage to the people that he's with. A bunch of AoE damage if he can to keep the control over the NPCs or other players, and then his ulti, which I just showed you, was to slow him down, do some damage, and I do believe it does pull them into him, now that I remember correctly. It's not a knock-up, it's actually a pull towards him. So, melee, tough, fighter. He's not really a tank, but he is... We got an incoming message here. Oh, yeah. So at the top of the screen, you're going to see in our UI, and I think you can see the mouse here. Pretty cool UI stuff going on. We've got Skullball set up to be 5 minutes right now, and we're just testing out to see what the good amount of time is, because we didn't really want to do like 5 points or 10 points, just an arbitrary number. We wanted to give it a timer, and that felt real good. So right now it's set at 5 minutes, and after 5 minutes, the end of the match. Oh, a little bit of audio snag there. We wanted to make sure that these arenas were visually interesting, that had a little bit more going on than just a flat surface that the players had to run back and forth with, because we didn't want it to be something that wasn't super appealing or didn't have a good replay value. So this kind of thing gave us an opportunity to create something new that really hasn't been visually awesome some of the other titles that are out there. Players are going to spawn in each one of these. Force fields are going to go up so they can't necessarily go back in. I want to give a shout out to Joe Grabowski, who is actually the originator of this level. Did a great job on design, did a great job on laying it out. He's one of our environment and props modelers. And you'll see some really cool touches. We've got some other visual effects going in we wanted to plan. I do want to point out that this is still in late alpha testing that we're doing, and so it's come along pretty well, and we just want to make sure that we nail it. But so that's been the Hero Spotlight for today. It's Sentriax, a tough fighter with some distance closing, a little bit of range just to make sure he can stay in the fight. He's got a buff, a nice AoE ground slam, and then a lovely... Oh, I've run out of energy. And his ulti is a lovely taunt with a slow and some AoE damage just to make sure that the things don't get away from him once he's actually gotten in there into the fight. Yeah. So we'll give a flyby on him just so you can see some of our cool art. His backstory includes that he had his arms surgically removed and replaced with robotic or cybernetic arms, so that way he could get a power core in there. Oh, I lose. I was warned about it. Once the timer hits at the end, it's going to freeze. So, let's see if we can close that out. And again, early alpha, just trying to make sure everything works the way we want. Go ahead and close that bad boy out. All right. Well, I'm glad that it didn't reset Windows there. I'm going to pop back over to the scene. 3, 2, 1, go. I'm there. So, thank you for joining Sin Studios. Scott Reschke here, lead game designer, CEO. We'll see you next week. Do check out our YouTube channel. It is youtube.com/c/TwayborGame. Check out Facebook.com/Sin Studios. Twitter @Sin Studios, and then our Instagram, Pinterest, wherever you want to be, we're there. I think we even got a Tumblr going on. Thank you. Have a real good weekend. Talk to you soon.